friends from Tech Mahindra associates across the globe. Greetings from Sam Pitroda in Chicago. It is indeed a special privilege for me to be with you at this Global Telecom Day or World Telecom Day. Every year, May 17th is celebrated as the World Telecom Day. I must tell you that this year will be my 50th year in telecom business. First, I want to wish all of you a great celebration of World Telecom Day. And I want to use this opportunity to share with you my own journey on telecom. Telecom is a great profession to be in. It connects people, it solves problems, it creates jobs, opportunities, improves productivity, efficiency, and all of us who work in telecom are really lucky to be able to help people in general with their day-to-day activities and really improve quality of their life through improved communications. Today, since I am celebrating 50th year in my career in telecom, I want to say that the first phase of telecom revolution, which was more about connecting people, improving productivity, efficiency, reducing cost, is essentially over. The second phase of telecom revolution is about to begin. And the second phase of telecom revolution with broadband, cloud computing, social networks, smartphones, high-speed fiber is going to be all about creating new world and transforming the way we do things today. It is not about doing things we do today more effectively, more efficiently, but it is about doing things that we have never done before. It is really about bringing generational transformation in institutions and infrastructure that we have created in the 20th century for things like food, education, health, financial services, and governance. The next phase is about Internet of Things, communication between machines, smart cities, MOOCs, low-cost diagnostics equipment, satellite imagery for agricultural productivity, e-governance, knowledge networks. I am very excited about the second phase of the telecom revolution. And I'm sure many of our young colleagues at Tech Mahindra will make a substantial contribution in the next 20-25 years to come in really shaping and reshaping these generational changes that are around the corner for all of us. Let me now begin with a little bit of my story on telecom in the last 50 years. I really started my job in the US in 1965 at a laboratory at Illinois Institute of Technology on electroparamagnetic resonance. Not quite directly connected to telecom, but very close, because there were issues related to signal conversion, signal processing. Then immediately I got into telephone business. Those were the days we were just coming out of vacuum tubes into transistor circuitry. Integrated circuits were just beginning to show up. I remember buying 2-input NAND gates for $35. Later, I bought 16-bit RAM, random access memory, for $16, dollar a bit. In those days, the emphasis was more on television, radio, and in telecom, digital switching was a big new idea in 65, 66. I was lucky enough to get into digital switching business, research and development, and I got a chance to work on digital tone generators, digital tone receivers, PCM conferencing circuits, time switch, space switch, stored program controls. I still remember first microprocessor developed by Intel, 4004, that I used for a small PABX. Then 4040, 8-bit processor 8008, 8080, and just see where we have come. In a very short period of just about 25, 30 years, everything has changed. I worked on stored program control systems, distributed controls, built telecom switches like PABX, automatic call distributors, tandem switches, built a business in the US called Westcom Switching, and then sold it to Rockwell International in 1979. Right after that, my attention changed to developments in telecom. With the help of then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and his political will and support, we could launch Center for Development of Telematics, where we had a great team of about 400 young, bright engineers, boys and girls, who gave up their best effort to be able to work outside and stayed in India and spent 3 valuable years in developing indigenous products. The idea then was to focus on access as opposed to telephone density, local production, indigenous development, ancillary industries, Indian talent, and all of these things really created ecosystem to build great deal of human capacity in India. Those were very exciting days. We started CDOT in 84, then we started CDAC right after that, Center for Development of Advanced Computing. And these two groups were very critical to building confidence in Indian systems. Then we had just about 2 million telephones. It used to take about 15 years to get telephone connection. In a short span of 25 years, today we have billion telephones. Not only that, but we generate $150 billion worth of software export year after year, every year. And credit goes to Indian talent, Indian entrepreneurs. Government provided the right kind of backing and initial human capacity to really drive this initiative. Government focused on deregulation, privatization, free market economy, labor reforms in telecom, and with focus on STD PCOs, we could bring telecom to rural communities and everyone could see the benefits. Believe me, where we were was very different from where we are today. Then we had no idea that India will have billion phones by 2015. Mobile communication played an important role. I have always said that in the first 35 years of my work in telecom, cost per line remained close to $1,100 a line. And as a result, it took us 150 years to get to billion phones all over the world. Then came mobile phone. And the cost per line went down from $1,100 to $500 to $400 to $200. And when it hit below $100 a line, all of a sudden in 15 years, world added about 6 billion more phones. So there is direct relationship between affordability and scalability. Telecom today is pervasive. Everybody has telephones. Of course, at the same time, there are a large number of people in rural areas who still don't have access to phone. But I believe that is going to change and change this rapidly. After that, first phase of my journey in India on telecom and IT, I had a heart attack, quadruple bypass. Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi got killed. I ran out of money and I came back to US to rebuild my life. By then I had given up my US nationality, so I came back as a tourist. I again rebuilt some of the businesses to really take care of myself and my family, and then turned my attention again to India. And I had an opportunity to work on Knowledge Commission, public information infrastructure, and innovations. In public information infrastructure, along with Nandan Nilekani, who focused on UID, we decided to build platforms for applications, connectivity, with knowledge network to connect our universities, our libraries, with connectivity to 250,000 panchayats with optical fibers, applications for e-governance, passport, driver's license, food distribution, and lots of other interesting things. When people talk about Digital India today, it is all about all the work that went into many of these creative ideas that we planted together. Fortunately, we had a large group of talent in NIC, in the government, to build a lot of these programs. We are now looking at National GIS, And the whole infrastructure that we are creating for democratization of information is going to be very critical to India's future. We first created right to information. Then we built this institutional framework to democratize information. I remember when President Obama came to India, I had an opportunity to spend some time with him. And we decided to launch a joint program with White House on open government platform. The idea was to open government data and government documents. It took us about a year to develop the product and then convince Indian government about a year to open data. Now a lot of this data is available for young people to start new businesses, mine and monetize some of this, and create new opportunities for a large number of young entrepreneurs going forward. Web and IT has changed everything. It has changed the way we do business, business models, delivery systems, and I think it is going to change a lot more. The second phase of telecom revolution is all about this change. It is not about incremental change that we have seen in the past. It is about generational change in many of these sectors. It is about breaking existing barriers that we created in 20th century with old processes, old procedures, and creating a whole new way of doing things. Education is a classical example. Do we really need 4 years to get a degree from college? Can we learn from net at our own pace? Do we need teacher to deliver content and create content when we have content created by best of the best global experts and available freely on the net? Why do we need teacher for that? We need teacher as a mentor, but none of our teachers are trained to be mentor. Same with doctor. Do we really need doctor for everything we do today? Can we get a lot of these things done with paramedical workers, with low-cost diagnostics equipment, telemedicine? All of these are very important issues today. The whole idea of money. I had an opportunity to work on mobile payment. I built a company in the US which was then sold to MasterCard. Mobile payment is going to change the concept of money itself. I'm sure you know a lot about bitcoins and electronic money. Similarly, the whole e-governance. What is the role of the government? How do you create accountability, transparency in the government through these new tools and technology? How do you use social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google Hangouts, WhatsApp, to really create a whole new way of dealing with problem solving? I think we are just beginning to scratch the surface today. Telecom is going to play bigger and bigger role in all of these areas. Look at what is happening to genetics, material science, alternate energy. Everywhere big data is going to play an important role. Everywhere data mining is going to be the key to unlocking new knowledge. I am very excited about the potential of telecom in the next 2 decades to come. But I'm equally concerned about the fact that we focus too much on solving problems of the rich. This is another one of my favorite topics. I believe best brains in the world have been busy solving problems of the rich who really don't have problems to solve. And as a result, problems of the poor really don't get the right kind of talent. You all talented young have moral responsibility to address the problems of the poor. Problems of the poor require different kind of solutions because they begin with focus on affordability. scalability, sustainability. Problems of the poor are tougher. And today technology is available, but talent doesn't get diverted in that direction because people are busy making money. People want good jobs. In the process, talented people go work for investment banks. You get a great PhD in electrical engineering, you get an MBA, and then what do you do with it? So I think this is where India could play an important role because we have large number of young talented people. And I hope some of you do pay attention to innovative new ideas, to solving problems differently, to look at the challenges of the poor, and to really create new jobs of tomorrow. World really needs a lot of new jobs. Old jobs don't exist, and not many are creating new jobs. And new jobs are not just in service sector. There are new jobs in agriculture, which require new tools, new technology, new methods. There are new jobs in health, which again require understanding of new tools and technology. And that's where I think the challenge lies. So 100,000 strong workforce as Tech Mahindra can't be looking at just solving problems of the rich. Can't be looking at export business all the time. Because there are huge challenges back home in India, Africa. Who's going to solve these problems? Who's going to look at these challenges? I think we have moral responsibility to take the tools of telecom, especially on World Telecom Day, to solve the problems of environment, global warming, poverty, security, society, education, health, food, nutrition. But these problems can only be solved by thinking out of the box, by doing it differently, and not by incremental changes, but by generational changes. I look to young talent at Tech Mahindra to really think about this carefully. You have the tools, energy, and you are fortunate enough to have the kind of education you needed to really address these challenges. So don't get locked up in routine jobs. Fight the system. Bring generational change. And I'm sure you will find new challenges right around the corners for you to tackle. There's a need for new paradigm. There's a need to invent products from India for the global market. India has been just doing service activities. Very little new innovations have come out of India, even in IT. And there's no reason for it. But then our industry doesn't spend enough for R&D. They don't say, here is $2 billion, give it to 1,000 young people and let them innovate for a while and not look for immediate return on this capital. I think we don't have that culture. We need more venture capital. We need more people who are willing to take risk. We need respect for failures. And we really need young looking at this whole thing very differently. I have great confidence, based on my experience at CDOT, that our young will respond to this challenge. With this thought, I once again want to thank Tech Mahindra for giving me this opportunity. I want to wish you all a great World Telecom Day, and I hope you begin to redefine yourself on this World Telecom Day as to what is your role in telecom and how are you going to make a difference. Thank you.